So the title of the fourth unit is Real-Time Operating System Based Embedded System Design. And the content of this unit is, and this fourth unit is having the following contents like operating systems basics, the basics regarding the operating system. What is operating system? And what are the different types of operating systems? What is the definition of the operating system? What are the main functionalities of the operating system, right? Okay. So what is the definition of the operating systems? What are the main functionalities of the operating system? What are the different parts of the, and who will, what is the core of the embedded system, right? So this and that we are going to discuss during that under the basis of the operating system. Next, types of the operating system. How many types of operating systems are possible, are available, right? While we're discussing in the third unit, how to develop the, what are the different approaches, design approaches are available to develop the embedded firmware, no? Under that, we discussed about two design approaches, software loop based approach and embedded operating system based approach. Under the embedded operating system based approach, while we are discussing that topic, we discussed the different types of operating systems, like general purpose operating system, real-time operating system, and what is the difference between these two, and what are the examples of those two different types of operating systems, right? Same thing in detail we are going to discuss here also. And what is task and what is process and what is threads. About these also I gave you the introduction while we are discussing the third unit, right? So actually the application, main application is divided into tasks, and under that task several process will be there. I mean, the process is a part of the task and threads are the part of the processes, and all these are frankly speaking programs or a set of instructions, right? And multi-processing, and how the embedded system can be able to perform multiple processes at the same time, multiple tasks executing the performing the functioning the multiple tasks at the same time, and how it is scheduling different task execution. These and all we are going to discuss in the fourth unit. So before that, today we are going to discuss some of the basics regarding the operating systems. What is the what may be the definition of the operating system? Operating system is nothing but it's a bridge between the system hardware and system software. It acts as a bridge between the system software and system hardware and system applications and system hardware, right? It also different, like an operating system is a system software that manages the computer hardware and system resources, right? That manages the hardware and software resources. I mean, it acts as a bridge between the hardware and software and application and the hardware. It can also be able to manage the system hardware and the resources of the software, and also provides the common services for the execution of the programs, computer programs, okay? And also provides the common services for programs of the computer. And what are the main primary functions of the operating systems means, no? So it makes the system convenient to use, and it can be able to organize and manage the system resources effectively and correctly, efficiently and correctly. These are all the primary functionalities and the definition of the operating system. And how is the architecture of this operating system? What are the main parts of the operating systems means? So you can see here. So it is the architecture of the operating system. And we can also see here the responsibilities and the services provided by the operating system. You can see here, I already told you, it is something like a bridge between the user application, that is the software, and the hardware, right? And it is in between the user applications of, I mean, like bridge between the software and hardware. Otherwise, in between the user applications and hardware. Okay, and some of the functionalities and services provided by the operating system, in frankly speaking, kernel of the operating systems are something like memory management, process management, time management, file system management, and IO system management, or device management. Also, it is called as input output device management. And we are going to discuss about each service provided by the operating system in detail in the next coming classes. Here, the main part of the operating system is the kernel of the operating system. The kernel of the operating system is something like a heart of the operating system, or which manages all the functionalities which can be able to done by the operating system, or are managed mainly by the kernel of this operating system. Here, kernel is the core of the operating system, and it is responsible for managing the system resources and the communication among the hardware and other system services. Communication among the hardware and other system services. Okay, so here the kernel is the main part of the operating system. Whatever the operations or services provided by the operating systems are managed by the kernel, and it is also responsible for managing the system resources. Resources are required to execute any instruction, right? So those resources, are allocation of those resources, are managing of those system resources are taken care of this kernel. Along with that, establishing the communication between the task and establishing the communication between the process which is a part of the task, and establishing the communication between the different parts of the different peripherals inside the embedded system. It's a hardware, between the hardware. These also managed is also managed by the kernel of the operating system. Like kernel acts as an abstraction layer between the system resources and user applications. And this kernel also contains the system libraries and services. So for a general purpose operating system, mainly there are two types of operating systems, Noma: general purpose operating system and real-time operating system. So the kernel of every operating system is having its own kernel, and who is responsible for allocation of the resources and managing all the tasks performed by that particular operating system. So for a general purpose operating system, the kernel contains different services for handling the following tasks. What are the tasks what are the tasks managed by the kernel of the general purpose operating system? We are going to discuss about each one in detail. Process management, memory management. Memory is having two parts, that is primary memory, secondary memory. Mainly we can also consider as the program memory and data memory. We already discussed about that. Which memory is called as program memory and which memory is called as data memory, students? Usually read-only memory is called as program memory. Random access memory is called as data memory, right? So file system management, input output system management is also called as device management. And along with that, production systems, interrupt handler. These are all the tasks these are all the tasks handled by the kernel of the operating system. Here we are going to discuss about the general purpose operating system kernel of the general purpose operating system. And now we'll see what are the operations of this process management. Process management that deals with the managing of the process, task, process, threads. Three types they are having. Application is subdivided into, right? So it deals, the process management entirely deals with the process, okay, which is a part of the sub function of the task, part of the task. So this process management includes setting up the memory space for the process. Process is nothing but a program or instructions, right? Set of instructions, and it requires some memory space to store that instructions, right? Allocating. Who will allocate this memory? Who will responsible for allocating the memory space for these instructions? Process management is responsible for that. And loading the process code into the memory and allocating the system resources and scheduling this execution of the process, and then managing the execution and setting up the managing the process control block. Process control block is every process is having its own process control block, which is responsible for storing the, and each process is assigned with a unique ID, and ID of that process, and the starting and the ending address of this process, and the resources which are required for that, and what is the memory allocation allocated for memory space allocated for this process. Every detail is managed by this is held by this process control block, and each process having its own process control block. IPC and the synchronization of the process. IPC is nothing but inter-process communication, establishing the communication between the processes, right? And synchronizing the execution of these processes and terminating of this process. After the execution of the process is completed, should be terminated, and other process will be, or resource will be allocated, and memory space will be allocated for the other process, right? And detection of this process. These are all the functions, responsibilities managed by this process management. Next, primary memory management. Memory is divided into two types, primary memory and secondary memory. Here, primary memory is a volatile memory, that is random access memory, right? So we already know that read-only memory holds that instructions and programs. That's why we used to call them as the program memory. And data memory is nothing but random access memory, which is volatile in nature. Okay, once the power goes, in the absence of the power, we can lose all the data which we stored in the RAM. In the case of ROM, it is non-volatile, and even in the absence of the power, we can't lose that. The term primary refers to the volatile memory, that is random access memory, where processes are loaded and variables and shared data associated with each process are stored. Okay, so to execute the process, where the process is the set of instructions, to execute that instruction, we require some data, we require variables, and we also require some resources, right? All the data variables, shared data related issues, and each thing that is associated with the process will be stored there. And the memory management unit is associated with this memory, and that memory management unit is the of this kernel is responsible for keeping track of which portion of the memory area is currently used by the processor. Okay, and we already know that the process is allocated with some part of the some memory space is allocated for the process, right? And which part of the memory or memory space, or which portion of the memory space is now currently utilized by the processes, that tracking of that will be managed by the memory management unit. And also allocating of the memory space or deallocating of the memory space on need basis, means dynamic memory allocation is possible here. Allocating of the memory space and deallocating of the memory space is also managed by the memory management unit of the kernel. Next is file system management. File is a collection of related information. It may be a text file, it may be image, or it may be video, audio, or it may be just Word document, right? So it may also contain some programs. Okay, so the file operation is a useful services provided by the operating system. Why? Because what are the services provided by the operating system related to the file? No, so the kernel of the file system management is responsible for creation of the file, deletion of the file, or alteration of the content of the file. The file may contain several information, right? Altering the information related to the file. Okay, and creation of the file, deletion and alteration of the directories. Okay, and creation, deletion, alteration of the files and directories, saving of the files in the secondary storage memory, and providing the automatic allocation of the file space. Okay, space should be allocated, memory space should be allocated to store that file, right? And based on the amount of the free space available, the space will be allocated for the file, and providing the flexible naming convention of the file. We can be able to name the file. The flexibility will also be provided by this kernel of operating system, the file system management. Next is input output device management. Input output means the devices may be input devices or maybe output devices. Here the kernel is responsible for routing the input output request. It may be a request from the input device, a request from the output device, from the different user applications to the appropriate IO device of the system. In a well-structured operating system, the direct accessing of the input device is not allowed, and the accessing of them is provided through a set of application programming interfaces exposed by the kernel. And application regarding this application programming interfaces, we are going to discuss in the next class. And the kernel maintains a a list of all these IO devices of the system, and the services device manager who is responsible of this kernel of the device manager responsible for handling all the input output device related operations and issues, and the kernel talks to the input output device through a set of low level system calls where the implemented in a service are called as a device drivers. So here it is very important for the one more question. What is device driver? No, device driver is nothing but a kernel talks to input output devices through a set of low level system calls. So how the kernel is communicated with the input output device through the low level system calls, which are implemented in a services. That the service is called as input device drivers. Okay, so we discussed about the primary storage memory. Now, what are the responsibilities and associated kernel responsibilities related to the secondary storage management? Like it deals with the managing the secondary storage memory devices, if any, connected to the system. And secondary memory is used for backup medium for the programs and data, since main memory is volatile, right? So if in the absence of the power, we can't, if you want, if you don't want to lose the data, can use a secondary memory, which is non-volatile in nature. In most of the systems, the secondary storage kept in this hard disk. So secondary storage management services of kernel deals with the disk storage allocation, disk scheduling, and free disk space management. Okay. So here we discussed regarding the